Welcome to my journey through the Bible. This will be applications you can apply to your life and a little more in depth about the chapter. We are in Deuteronomy 15, verses 1 through 23. And we have been blessed by God. Everything that we have is because God has blessed us with it. So if we see a friend, a neighbor, a family member in need, then we can lend them money. We need to try to help them out if we are able to do it without hurting ourselves and our families. And we can give not only to a blood family, but we can also give to our church family. If we know somebody in our family is struggling and we could help them out with a bill or a situation, then we should do that, and we should do that freely. Now, mine and my husband's, our rule of thumb is if we give money to somebody, if we let somebody borrow money from us, we give it freely. And we do not expect to get it back. And this way, we won't be upset. If we get our money back, great and fine. But if we don't, then there's no reason to be upset because we never expected them to pay it back in the first place. And it tells us we can lend to other nations, but do not borrow from other nations. And then it talks about ruling over other nations and not having them rule over you. Well, this is a blessing from God. And I would say we have always, as a country, we have always give money and food and goods to other countries. And somewhere along the way, we began to borrow money from other countries. Now, when these other countries have borrowed money from us, we release them of their debt. We forgive them. But the other countries are not so forgiving of us when we borrow, and we are in very deep debt to other nations because they are not so forgiving. And for this reason alone, that is why we need to have good, strong leaders that read the Bible, believe in God, and are being responsible and wise with the decisions that they make for our country and for either our debt or the money that we receive. And for them to be able to do the right thing to the best of their ability. Now, we do not have slaves anymore, and we have not had slaves for a very long time. And God is not for slavery. But if we go back to the beginning, the Israelites did sell themselves into bondage for food. So they were going to work so that them and their children could eat and not perish when there was a famine in the land. And because they were in bondage for so many years, God did not want other people to be in bondage for that long. That's why He made the year of Jubilee. You may work for somebody for 6 years, but in the 7th year, you'd be released. And today, the only thing that we're a slave to is sin itself. And a lot of times it's because we choose to be a slave to that. We have a mighty, powerful God, and all we have to do is reach out, to call out to Him and ask Him to help us to overcome our sin, give us the strength, go before us. And God is faithful and mighty to answer our prayers and to help us if we are sincere in wanting to overcome a sin, if we want to try to push that out of our lives. And then we also need to share this good news with everybody we come in contact with. Let them know they don't have to be a slave to sin. They don't have to be a slave to money. and to the situations that they're in, that they can look to God and they can pray, and God will show them a way out. And also, when we have people working for us, we need to be respectful to them. We need to be honoring God in the way that we treat other people and the jobs that they are doing for us. And then we need to give God our first. This means that when we decide to tithe, that when we get paid, we say, I'm giving X amount of money to the church. And then we pay our bills afterwards. We start figuring out how to budget our money. And we make sure that God's put at the top of that list. And then you put a dollar amount beside it. And then that way we're able to pay God first. Now, God does not need our money. And so the amount of that money doesn't matter nearly as much as being obedient and having a willing heart. And if we make God our priority and we give to Him, God will give us back more than we could ever imagine, because we can never outgive God. May God be with you in everything and in every way.